Hello, and welcome to the 13th episode of our Scripture in a Year series hosted by Saints Peter and Paul Orthodox Church of the Albanian Archdiocese of the OCA. Today's readings are Genesis chapters 49 and 50. Now Jacob called his sons and said, "Gather together, that I may tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my children. You are hard to bear, you are hardened in your self-will. Unstable as water in your insolence. You went up to your father's bed, then you defiled it. Simeon and Levi are brothers. They accomplished their injustice from their free choice. Let not my soul enter their council. Let not my honor be united to their assembly. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they hamstrung an ox. Cursed be their anger, for it was self-willed, and their wrath, for it was hardened. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Judah, you are he whom your brothers shall praise. Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's son shall bow down before you. Judah is a lion's cub. From being a shoot, my son, you have grown up. He bows down and slept as a lion and a cub. Who shall rouse him? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from his loins, until Shiloh comes. And to him shall be the expectation of the nations, binding his colt to a vine, and his donkey's colt to its branch. He will wash his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are gladdened from the wine, and his teeth are whiter than milk. Zebulun shall dwell by the sea-coast. He shall be near a haven for ships, and his border shall adjoin Sidon. Issachar desired what was good, resting between the inheritances, and seeing his resting place was good, and the land was fertile, he set his shoulder to hard work and became a farmer. Dan shall judge his own people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, a viper lying in ambush by the path, that bites the horse's heels, that its rider may fall backward, waiting for the Lord's salvation. As for Gad, a raider gang shall raid him, but he shall raid them in close pursuit. As for Asher, his food shall be abundant, and he will furnish dainties for rulers. Naphtali is a spreading stem, bestowing beauty by its produce. Joseph is a grown-up son that was envied. O my youngest son, return to me. They devised evil plans against him and reviled him, and the archers were taking aim at him, but their bows were broken by force, and the sinews of the arms of their hands were enfeebled, on account of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob. Thence he who strengthened Israel is from the God of your father, and my God has helped you and blessed you with a blessing from heaven above, and with a blessing of the earth containing everything. By reason of the blessing of breasts and the womb, he made the blessing of your father and mother stronger than the blessings of stable mountains and everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the brothers he led. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he will still be eating, and in the evening he will provide food. All these are the 12 sons of Israel, and this is what their father spoke to them, and blessed them, and he blessed each one according to his own blessing. Then he charged them and said to them, I am to be added to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, opposite Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite as a possession for a burial place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The field and the cave there were purchased from the sons of Heth. Thus when Jacob finished commanding his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed and breathed his last, and was added to his people. Now Joseph fell on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. 40 days were required for him, for such are the days required for those embalmed, and the Egyptians mourned him for 70 days. So when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spoke to the princes of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your sight, speak in the hearing of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Behold, in the grave I dug for myself in the land of Canaan, there you shall bury me. Now therefore let me go up and bury my father, and I will come back." Then Pharaoh said, "Go up and bury your father as he made you swear." So Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as all the house of Joseph, his brothers, his father's house. Only their sheep and oxen they left in the land of Goshen. There also went up with them both chariots and horses, and it was a very great gathering. Then they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, and they mourned there with a great and very solemn lamentation. He observed 7 days of mourning for his father. So when the inhabitants of the land of Canaan saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, they said, "This is a deep mourning of the Egyptians." Therefore its name was called the mourning of Egypt, which is beyond the Jordan. Thus his sons did for him just as he commanded them. For his sons carried him to the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, opposite Mamre, which Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite as property for a burial place. After he buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, he and his brothers, and all who went up with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw their father was dead, they said, "Perhaps Joseph will hate us and may actually repay us for all the evil we did to him." So they came to Joseph, saying, "Before your father died, he commanded, saying, 'Thus you shall say to Joseph, I beg you, forgive the injustice of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now forgive the injustice of the servants of the God of your father.' And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, 'Behold, we are your servants.' So Joseph said to them, 'Do not be afraid, for I belong to God. But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about, as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your households.' Thus he comforted them and spoke to their heart. So Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his brothers. Then Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph saw Ephraim's children to the third generation, and the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were also brought up on Joseph's knees. Then Joseph said to his brethren, 'I am about to die, but God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land to the land God swore to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.' Thus Joseph took an oath from the children of Israel, saying, 'God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here.' So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him and put him in a coffin in Egypt." Here ends the reading for the day.